Hello dear students, today we will be doing the last part of chapter 6 Mauryan Age, Chandragupta and Emperor Ashoka. In the previous videos we studied about Chandragupta Maurya, the founder of the Mauryan Age, his son Bindusar who maintained that same relation, and then his son Emperor Ashoka who extended the empire to a vast area, and then after his heart change, he also propagated Buddhism and did very good work for public. So now, after all this, the lives of the kings, we will be studying about the administration of during the Mauryan age, how the governance, how the work was carried out. Chandragupta Maurya established a large empire. It was expanded by Emperor Ashoka. Chandragupta's chief minister and sharp politician Vishnugupta Chanakya, or even known as Kautilya, divided large Mauryan empire for well-organized administration. During this time, there were three sections of the administration. So, the working during the Mauryan era. Chandragupta established a huge empire and then it was expanded by Emperor Ashoka. But at that time, during all those years, there was a well organized administration which was decided, which was planned by Vishnugupta Chanakya, or who is even known as Kautilya, who was a chief minister of Chandragupta and a very sharp politician. He had divided for proper working, he had divided it into three sections. Let's study those sections. Administration of Mauryan age. A. Central, B. Provincial, and C. Regional or local. Now, don't you think this is similar to the administration which we have studied earlier about current era? Well, even the current era is made from our history, the great works by our people. They had that knowledge and we learned from that and we have adapted to it. Let's study which regions and what were the work by all these administrative heads. Central administration system. Emperor was at the center of the administration governance. He was head of administrative, military, and judicial departments of the empire. His position was hereditary. Patliputra and areas around it were under direct control of emperor. He managed administration with the help of ministers and higher officials. Chanakya has told about 18 departments, out of which main departments and their heads are as follows. Now, the central administration, the administration of the capital and the regions around it. So, Patliputra and the areas around it were under the direct control of the emperor. And which departments he took care of? He was the head of administrative, military, and judicial departments of the empire. To manage properly, Chanakya had divided, he has written about 18 departments, but we will study the main departments and their heads. Department and their head. Agriculture department. His head was called Sitadhyaksh. Military department, Senani. Judicial department, Pradeshatri. Trade department, Panyadhaksh. Office repository or Akshpatal or record department, Maha Akshpatal. And for revenue department, we had the Mudradhyaksh. Now, if you divide it, if you make the Sandhi Vichhed, you will find that Seat Adhyaksh, Panya Adhyaksh, Mudra Adhyaksh. So the head is the Adhyaksh, and according to the department, there were this heads. There were 18 departments, but we studied about the 6 main ones. Provincial administrative system. Now, province. It is like the empire is there, that huge empire is there. So the region around the capital and the region around comes in the central and provinces. Province are even kingdoms, but they are a bit bigger. So the huge Mauryan Empire was divided into 5 sections. Head of the province was the governor. Usually, the prince was appointed at this post. Prince, I mean, we just have one king, but his children, those who are not king yet, they were appointed as the governor. So, governor's task in the province was to maintain peace and security, collect revenue, to get the orders of the king obeyed, and keeping the emperor constantly aware of the events taking place in the province. So, the king is ruling in the capital, and the prince, who are of age to take care, are appointed as governor, and their task is to maintain peace and security in the province, make sure that there is peace maintained, there are no rebellions, to collect revenue, the taxes, to get the orders of the king obeyed, and to keep the emperor in touch with all the events taking place. Regional administration or the local administration. For the sake of administrative ease, any province was divided into district or local and storage or taluka. District officer Rajuk worked at the district level, while officer of province was called provincial or gop. The smallest unit of administration was the village. Its head was called Gramani. Gramani used to run the administration of the village with the help of elected members of the village. Now, the regional administration, the local administration. So, if one person or one department is taking care of huge area, it becomes very difficult. So, to make it easy, any province, the regions were divided into districts and taluka. So, districts are big, and talukas are comparatively smaller. And under them, there were the villages, and accordingly, there were officers like district officer Rajuk, provincial officer Go, and the village head was Gramani. And Gramani used to run the administration of the village with the help of elected members of the village, the members which are elected by the villagers. So that was how the administration was during the Mauryan era. Let's study about the successors of Emperor Ashoka and fall of Mauryan Empire. Such huge empires, such huge era also came to an end because all the kings, all the generations are not the same. Regarding Emperor Ashoka's successors, we find different information in Brahmin, Jain, and Buddhist texts. According to the information given in Puranas, total 9 to 10 kings of Mauryan dynasty ruled for 137 years. Puran are the Brahmin texts, the Hindu texts. So, according to Puran, there are 9 to 10 kings of Mauryan dynasty who ruled for 137 years. Taking advantage of the impoverished rule of last king of Mauryan dynasty, that is Brihadrath, his general Pushyamitra killed him on the pretext of watching military drill. Thus, in 185 BC, Pushyamitra Shung established Shung dynasty on the throne of Magad, and Mauryan dynasty came to an end. So, the last king was Brihadrath, and his rule was impoverished rule, like he was a needy, he was penniless, or he was a poor ruler, and he was the last king of Mauryan dynasty, Brihadrath. Why? Because though he was king, he was needy, or he was penniless, he was poor. So his general Pushyamitra killed him on the pretext of watching military drill. Military drill. We have studied the word drill, how the soldiers practice or march. So, Pushyamitra made him watch the military drill on the grounds of watching that, making an excuse that they were watching military drill, but at that time he was killed. And in 185 BC, Pushyamitra Shung established Shung dynasty on the throne of Magad, and Mauryan dynasty came to an end. So if the Brihadrat was killed, even his son cannot become the next successor. After that, the king is dethroned, so the person who is on the throne now, his successors rule. So his dynasty starts. That was all about Mauryan age. The explanation of the chapter is over. In the live class, we will start with the exercises. Before the live class, I will want you guys to read the chapter again. That's it. See you in the live class.